What's up, everybody? I'm KB, and I love movies. Uh, Fall weather is here, man. I got the hoodie on. It's officially fall. The temperature has dropped. Great time for a new challenge. Shout out to Huck at Huck's Pop Culture Cafe. He issued a couple of challenges to add on to his A to Z challenge. That was fun to do. But the next one up is favorite actors. And the challenge here is to make sure you don't use any of the movie titles that you use for the A to Z. Pretty sneaky there, Huck. So, had to think about it, just knowing that we also have favorite actresses coming up and then favorite directors. So, had to break out the spreadsheet and figure out who's going to go where. So, some of these may not be my actual favorites, but it kind of falls in line for what comes later. I'll just say that. So before I start with my list, I'm going to do my honorable mentions to the people who I don't have in these stack of movies here. So actors such as Daniel Day-Lewis, Robin Williams, Nicolas Cage, Gary Oldman, Joaquin Phoenix, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Christian Bale, the lovely Bruce Campbell, Paul Giamatti, Jim Carrey, Stanley Tucci, Michael Keaton, Willem Dafoe, Tom Hardy, Heath Ledger, Ossie Davis, Dustin Hoffman, and Jeff Bridges, just for saying with a bunch of scraps. But with that out the way, we're going to start with my list of 25. First one I have is the late, great Chadwick Boseman. So, while everyone would think the first choice would be Black Panther, I'm going to go back to the movie where I first came to know him, which was 42. Here he plays Jackie Robinson, great performance, very moving story, especially if you know the history of the Negro Leagues and how he came into the majors. So, he did a great job in this movie. Next one we have is Christoph Waltz. Love him in Inglourious Basterds. Unfortunately, I already picked that one. So I'm going to go with Alita Battle Angel. He was good in this one too. Not as good as he was in Inglourious Basterds, but this is a fine movie. Love the special effects. Next up, we have Eddie Murphy. And if you watch my A to Z, you know I already picked Coming to America. That's my favorite Eddie Murphy film. So I'm going to go back to the one that made him popular besides Saturday Night Live, and that's Beverly Hills Cop. Love this movie. Not as great as Coming to America, but still funny. Some would say there are other movies that are better, such as 48 Hours or Trading Places, but I love this one. Great transfer too. I enjoyed it. My favorite actor of all time is Denzel Washington. And I could have went a lot of different directions, especially with the Criterion titles that have been added this year, Malcolm X on the way. But I'm going to go back to one that I would love to have a 4K for, and that's Book of Eli. This surprised me. It was so good, didn't expect much from it, and his performance in it was otherworldly. Also, Gary Oldman's in this too. That's why he didn't make the list. It was that or a Batman movie. So shout out to Gary Oldman's performances, but Book of Eli was Denzel's. One of my favorite young actors is Michael B. Jordan. Once again, Black Panther, but I'm going to go for the obvious choice here, and that's Creed. So I always say that, and I said this the other night on 4K Lowdown's stream, Creed is the movie that we didn't know we wanted. Especially after a couple of hits and misses in the Rocky series, this was a nice way to return to the franchise with a new star and kind of like his coming out party, especially if you didn't see Fruitvale Station. All right, I don't know what you call him. Do you call him Larry? Do you call him Lawrence? I'm talking about Lawrence Fishburne. I already used The Matrix. Actually, I used all 4 Matrixes, even though he's in only 3 of them. So I'm going to go for one of my favorite criterions from last year, and that's Deep Cover. Great movie with him, Jeff Goldblum, another person on my honorable mention list, I should say. But this is a very, very good movie. And both performances from Jeff Goldblum and from Lawrence Fishburne were great. Could have also picked a Spike Lee movie, such as School Days or even Boys in the Hood. He was good in that too. Going back in time, I'm going to talk about an older actor that if you're not into classic movies, you may be unfamiliar with. His name is Edward G. Robinson. Whatever movie, I'm not even going to say one movie, whatever movie you watch with him, he's great. He's a character actor, but he always steals a performance in whatever movie he's in. So one of those times is where he's going with his gut, and that's in Double Indemnity. So here he plays Fred McMurray's boss, and he just has a bad feeling about what goes down in this movie. Great, great actor. Did a lot of early mob movies too. Catch him if you can. Sidney Poitier. Don't know what else I need to say. Sidney Poitier. But for Sidney Poitier, I'm going to go with In the Heat of the Night. And as many of you know, there are 2 other movies on here. The sequel, They Call Me Mr. Tibbs, and then also The Organization. Great movies, but In the Heat of the Night is a classic. The next actor we have is Harrison Ford. Great career. We got the Star Wars movies. I was going to go for the Han Solo thing, but I missed it the last time, so I'm going to have to break this out. In particular, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. To me, this is the best movie in the franchise and one of his better acting performances as an action star. He's also done some great drama roles, but this is indie, so can't beat that. Talking about someone who's done drama and little known action is one of Alfred Hitchcock's favorite actors, and that's James Stewart. For James Stewart, I could have went a lot of different ways, but the obvious one is the one that I grew up watching him in over and over, and that's It's a Wonderful Life. This movie is like a part of my Christmas. A lot of people talk about things like A Christmas Story and Christmas Vacation. I didn't grow up on those movies. I grew up on this, later on Elf. But yeah, James Stewart, excellent actor. Could also went with Liberty Valance because he's great in that too. One that you may not think of when you think of great, or in my case, favorite actors, is the late rapper Tupac Shakur. If his life wasn't cut short, he would be held in a higher esteem as far as his acting. At least I believe so. And when you think of Tupac in an acting performance, you think of Poetic Justice and you think of Juice. He is playing a mental case in this movie, and it's excellent. You never know what he's going to do next, and I love it. Every time I watch it, I wait for my favorite lines that he says, and I recite them along with them. That's how much I love him in this movie. So, Tupac, rest in peace. Another actor that's had a nice career, and I forgot that he was in Saw until I rewatched it the other day, but that's Danny Glover. And usually when you say Danny Glover, people think of, I'm getting too old for this, in Lethal Weapon. So here I'm going with the original Lethal Weapon. Some of the sequels focus more on his family and his family life, but the original chemistry that both him and Mel Gibson had together established that Riggs and Murtaugh relationship that went across the rest of the film. So can't beat Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon. Mr. Smith, Will Smith. So many different ways we could go. We could go with the Oscar-winning performance in King Richard. We could go back to his early acting days. but he's great in Men in Black. And can't wait to get into this one day, just to see what the transfer looks like. But he cracks me up every time in this movie. Same thing with Bad Boys. Also another movie where he cracks me up. Ving Rhames. Someone who's in a lot of your favorite movies. You may not think of him as a great actor, but I do. And he's definitely one of my favorites. And I liked his performance in Mission Impossible Fallout. A little bit different. He's not the head here. You might have pulled Pulp Fiction for him because he has a great role in that one. But I like the part that he plays in this, actually in most of the Mission Impossible movies. So Ving Rhames for this one. Mr. Robert De Niro. Not much to say. One of my favorite actors. One of my favorite roles. Raging Bull. That's it. I don't have to say anything more than that. Sylvester Stallone. If I pull him, I'm going to have to pull Schwarzenegger too, because that was the thing. It was Prince or Michael Jackson, Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I missed this the last time, so got to go with Rocky for Sylvester Stallone. Wrote, directed, and won an Academy Award for that movie. If I have Robert De Niro, and I also have to have Al Pacino. I already picked the Godfather movie, so can't put him in that. So what we call a hood classic, we have him in Scarface. Love this movie. Another movie I could recite all the time. That's how many times I've watched it. Sir Morgan Freeman is next. And I was trying to think of which way to go with Morgan Freeman. You know, your disaster movies, which movie is he playing? President or a god or whatever. I took the easy way out. I went for Shawshank. He's great as Red in this movie. Love it. Schwarzenegger. Last time I picked Terminator 2. This time I'm going for the original Terminator. He has a lot more movies. I could have picked Jingle All the Way. That's one of my favorites. Total Recall, whatever. But I love Terminator, man. What could I say? Another old actor that you may not know. He's actually one of my favorite actors who's ever been in a Hitchcock movies. His name is Joseph Cotten. He was Uncle Charlie in Shadow of a Doubt. If you've never seen that movie, you should definitely check it out. It's one of my favorite Hitchcock movies, and one that's not mentioned all the time, like your Psycho and your Birds and all that stuff. But doing the research for this video, I found out that he has an uncredited role in the movie Touch of Evil. Who knew? Must have been a bit part, but just wanted to point that out and bring this out. So, Joseph Cotten, great actor. Look through his filmography and check out his work. Talking about great actors, we have Tom Hanks. Should I pull out The Burbs? I don't have it. I'd like to. Maybe I'll pick it up one day. Castaway? Any of his other movies? Nah. This one made me a believer. I'm going with Toy Story 2. He is great as Woody. I don't care what it is. It could be one of those straight-to-video half-hour things. It could be Toy Story 4, which was totally unnecessary after the way they ended Toy Story 3. But Toy Story 2, I just love this movie. Definitely love this movie. Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise was the best of this movie, and I'm glad I'm doing this video today because I have something here that you don't. We have Tropic Thunder 4K. I'll check it out, make a review, tell you how I like it. I have until October 18th to do so, because that's when you can get it. Samuel L. Jackson is next. Nick Fury. He was also in Coming to America. He was a store robber. But I'm just going to go for Unbreakable. There he is, Mr. Jackson. He just has to give you that look and you know you're in trouble. So here he is as Mr. Glass. So, love this movie. Another actor that was popular in the 80s and 90s, not so much today, is Wesley Snipes. Originally, I pulled Blade for this because that's the obvious choice for a lot of people, just to go for Blade. But instead, I went back to the DVDs and I pulled out a movie that I'm dying for them to upgrade. Blu-ray or 4K, I don't care. I just need White Men Can't Jump. I need this upgraded. I love this movie. Look at him. Look at Wesley. Awesome. Great movie. Woody Harrelson is great. We also have Rosie Perez in here. Funny movie. Very indicative of the times, 1992. Great time. I got a couple more, 2 more. So I can't do a list of favorite actors without Leo DiCaprio. So Leonardo DiCaprio, I could have picked Romeo and Juliet. Could have picked Basketball Diaries, Shutter Island. Loved him in that. But I'm going to go with the Uncle Marty film and pull out Wolf of Wall Street. He's great here. Love this movie. Jordan Belfort is a real life guy, and this is really what happened. I'm sure a lot of it was blown up for a Hollywood movie, but great movie. I don't care how long it is. I don't care how many F words are in there. I just love this movie. So that's my 25 actors. And just to add one more, going with an ensemble pick of mostly men, we have Quentin Tarantino's Hateful Eight. You look at this, you got a lot of stars in here. Another one with Samuel L. Jackson. We got Kurt Russell in here. Walter Goggins, who's a great character actor. Tarantino used him a couple of times besides this. You got Tim Roth and Michael Madsen and Bruce Dern. And of course, Magic Mike himself, Channing Tatum. So, that's my 25 favorite actors. There's a lot more. I mentioned some in the beginning, but the thing about Hollywood is there's a lot of great actors that we get to watch with movies and over 100 years so, and a lot more up and coming. So this part was easy. As I've said before, actresses tend to be a little harder. That will be my next video. And then finally, I will do one for Best Directors sometime next week, whenever Huck announces it. So if you'd like to do one, please do so. And if you'd like to leave a comment about any of my picks, leave a comment below. Like and share and subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, peace.